Hey everybody, how we doing today? Mark Lozano here again, Christ Center Capital. I wanted to make a video today because I get a lot of questions on our support system at ChristCenterCapital.com about what the least ethical form of investing is. Now, obviously, we can talk about directly investing in, human trafficking or pornography or drugs or something like that. But I'm talking about the more socially acceptable ways of investing. So when we talk about socially acceptable ways of investing, we really have, you got your real estate, you got your stock investing, you have your digital assets, cryptocurrencies, NFTs. You have a lot of alternative things like investing in fine wine, investing in fine art, or stuff like that. So out of those, we're going to try to narrow it down. Maybe I'll make a couple videos, but right now I want to talk about the least ethical form of those traditionally socially accepted forms of investing. Sorry, I know that's a mouthful, but I'll try to make this really quick. It's not any one particular category that I just mentioned. It is the category because obviously ethical investing, especially from a Christian perspective, has a lot of nuance to it. I mean, real estate may be the most ethical form of investing if you are providing, housing for those people for people who actually need housing, and you're not charging them crazy amounts in rent, and you're not a slumlord, and you're maintaining your property, and you're, just charging reasonable rates, all that stuff. I mean, owning land or owning real estate could be one or the other. It could be the least ethical form if you're a slumlord, and it could be the most one of the most ethical forms if you're upkeeping and you're encouraging people to, rent to buy and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of nuance that goes into this. So it's not a hard and fast rule, but the least ethical form of investing is usually one that entails reaping where you have not sown. All right, so we know this term. If you're familiar with Christ Center Capital's work, you know this term of reaping where you have not sown. Now, we usually talk about the stock market on Christ Center Capital, right? The reason we talk about the stock market is because that's the mixed bag. That's where everybody invests. It's where your 401k is, your IRA, your personal portfolios, and most of them are something to do with the stock market, ETFs, mutual funds, whatever it is, right? Individual stocks. And there's something that I and a lot of others find problematic when it comes to investing in the stock market when we consider that reaping where you have not sown um, issue. Because a lot of times we buy any stock, we'll just pick Apple, right? We buy Apple, regardless of all the extracurricular activities that Apple might be involved in, whether they're funding abortion or maybe they're a great stock and they're doing, things with pregnancy crisis centers, or maybe they're involved with pornographic content, or maybe they're, supporting some good causes like religious liberty, whatever their extracurricular activities are. The point is, if you're a shareholder, if you own stock in that company, and you just fork your money over to a broker and now are expecting a return, and you are doing nothing to get that return, that's pretty much reaping where you have not sown. Now, this is just a layperson's opinion. This is just my opinion. Don't get too mad at me or anything like that. Don't write me nasty letters. You can if you want to, but I probably won't read them. But when you reap, that's reaping where you have not sown. I'm literally just giving money over and expecting a return. There's no work being done where I am collaborating with Apple to improve them, right? I'm literally just giving over money. Now, maybe I'm an active shareholder. Maybe I'm participating in the company. Maybe I'm voting on policies and procedures that Apple's trying to put into place and all these great things. Okay, you can probably make that argument that you're an active shareholder and now you're hoping for a return. But really, what we're talking about here is the majority of people who are passive investors, which is what Christ Center Capital wants to get people away from. We want to get people away from that passive investing of just handing your money over to your 401k or your broker or financial planner and saying do whatever you want with it. We want to get people to become active investors. Active investors, and really know what their money is funding and what their money is doing, and be a part of that, because it is God's capital that he has given to you, and you need to be a good steward of your money. that God has provided for you, right? That should be the Christian thought going into all investing. So, reaping where you have not sown is usually a big problem. It's kind of the litmus test when it comes to stocks and ETFs and stuff. That's one of the reasons why ETFs are never really recommended by Christ Center Capital, because you're not really participating. There's no way to participate. You just have a bundle of 50 or 100 or 1,000 different stocks in there, right? And you're not participating in all those. You're just expecting a return because you handed money over to something or someone. Now, there should be a little bit of a caveat to this with when we're investing, our intent really matters too. So, are we investing into Apple because we just want a return and then we're participating in those shareholder meetings because we're like, oh, this kind of checks the box of we're participating, we're active investors, so there's no ethical dilemma there. Now, even if Apple is a perfectly good moral company, which it's not, even if it is a perfectly good moral company and you're participating in those shareholder meetings and actually, voting ways that you should be voting and everything, the real question, as with all sin, is what's your intent? What is your intent? What is your knowledge and your intent? Because if your intent really is just to get an ROI and you're checking the box so you can get that ROI of participating actively, I mean, it's probably better than what most people are doing when they're investing in the stock market. But the intent should be you want to invest in that company because you think it promotes the common good. And you want to keep voting to make sure that it continues to promote the common good. And so these are some good litmus tests, especially when you go into the stock market. So the title of this video was the least ethical form of investing, but it was really about reaping where you have not sown. Okay? Sorry for a little bit of clickbait there. But reaping where you have not sown is a big, big deal when it comes to Christian investing. At least us here at C3 think so. Again, we're just lay people with opinions. You can take it or leave it. But reaping where you have not sown, and what's your intent? Is the company you're promoting really for the common good? And do you care about promoting that common good, or you just care about getting an ROI? So these are some questions all investors, we wish all investors, but at least all Christian investors should be asking themselves. Now, if you're at all interested in anything else and all this investing philosophy and stock picks and investment recommendations and moral underwriting of assets, go check out ChristCenterCapital.com. I can show you the video the website right here. Go check it out. If you have time, I think you'd really appreciate it. Some awesome content here. It's all completely free. Everything on Christ Center Capital, all the content is free. You can sign up for the newsletter. The newsletter is completely free. If you feel called, you can support us by hitting that support C3 button. You can give up to $1. You can give as little as $1 a month, or you can give as much as you want. We're trying to reach a goal of $4,000 a month funding-wise, so we can hire more people and cover more of the market and more international markets. So any amount of contribution you can make would be greatly appreciated. And if you don't want to make a contribution, but you'd be willing to buy some merch, hey, we have a shop. You can go in, get some really cool stuff with our logos and some sayings on it. I actually really like this shirt. It's definitely a conversation starter because it's, do you fund abortion? Are you sure? Because if you're a passive investor and you have your 401k or IRA set up, you're probably funding companies that donate to Planned Parenthood and a lot of other abortion services. So go check that out.